Hey guys, this is Dan with Shaner Designs. Today we're doing something a little bit different. This is a Solidworks video, but it's not like your typical step-by-step instructional video. I'm basically just going to go through making a part and show you what that looks like. And we're just going to go through that whole workflow, start to finish, and go through it in real time. I'm going to show you all the different things that I've picked up over the years to make things go faster. I'm going to show you some of the decisions that I make and why I do those. And yeah, you're just going to see the whole process. So hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully you get something useful out of it. Let's get started. All right, so I've got this 3D printed part. Printed it, didn't love the design, wanted to be able to change some features. So all I could access was the 3MF file, but I'm going to go ahead and just reverse engineer it, take the parts I like, change the stuff that I don't like, and make my own version. So just wanted to walk you through the process that I use to design something like this. So here we go. Well, first I'm going to actually go design it as an L bracket. So I'm going to select my right plane. We'll do this. So I'm intentionally making things exaggerated here. I'm going to change the dimensions kind of as I go. I'm going to make those equal. Those are going to be 12 millimeters. You can see my part dimensions are in inches to begin with. Took some measurements. Everything's in metric. I'm just going to keep working off of that for now. Just a little bit easier that way. And I'd rather, I got to type in millimeters. So I'd rather just do it this way than like change my my part file units. So I'm just going to do it like that. I'm going to extrude it. I didn't actually figure out how wide this is yet, so I'm just going to call it 4 inches. And I'm going to go mid plane. So you can see that's centered on my plane. Honestly, that looks a little bit small. So I'm just going to go back in here. I'm going to call it 5 inches. We'll get that nailed down later. But now I'm going to do extruded cut. Let's just do this. So we're going to go here, make this a tangent. That's our tangent. That's great. The width on this is going to be 320. That is in inches. I don't know why. Let's see. This was 60 millimeters. And then I know that this is the center to center distance is 42.5 millimeters. And then I'm going to divide that by 2. And that's going to put, so I'll have this one here, have one here, and then I'll just mirror it around the center plane. So it's just going to be the easiest way to make this part. This one is going to go through all. And then I've got another one on top that I'm just going to find the midplane of that one, and then I'm just going to find the midplane of the midpoint of that arc there. This is 22 millimeters. And then this actually goes all the way up to this plane here. So we'll do that. Do my extruded cut. I'm just going to go blind, 5 millimeters down. Oh, and then I go back and look at this and I realize, those are actually square. So I'll probably keep them square. I'm just going to go back in here. This is going to mess some things up, but I'll show you how I work through it. I'm just going to delete that. Do a new line. Do a midpoint, or a center line here. And then just got to type this in again. 42.5 millimeters divided by 2. And then this is going to keep the geometry that I had before. That should be, if I dual dimension it, that should be exactly 60 millimeters. So that looks good to go. And then this has some references too, so I'm just going to fix that. That is no longer coincident with that arc that I had, so I just need to put it back over there, and we're good to go. Alright, so we got that feature. Now what we can do is just do a linear pattern first. Just go off to this edge. Just going to do 2, and that's going to be 42.5 millimeters. Flip it around. So you can see my part's not quite long enough. So now I'm just going to go over here, and let's see what 6 inches looks like. Again, I guess 2 things. So one, I forgot to grab both of those features. I just grabbed the second extruded cut. And then, yeah, you can see it's still a little bit short. So we're going to go, well, maybe go 7 inches. That might be a little bit too much. So, yeah, that looks about right. If I really want to, I can come in here and I can measure. I'm going point to point, so this isn't going to get me exact, but it at least gets me kind of ballpark. Oh, well, that's not it at all. Let's try that again. So we're going to go from there to that edge. And it looks like it's more like 6.75 inches, so maybe I'll change that. That would have been a good place to start, but you can see I can also just mess around with it until it's visually kind of what I'm looking for. So now that I have that, all I have to do is mirror this on my right plane. And then, actually, before I do that, I'm going to make things even easier for myself. I'm going to do an extrude right here. And I don't know what that dimension is. I'm just going to leave it like that for now. Let's just make that blind, maybe 12 millimeter. Flip it around. That's too much, so I'm going to go, let's try 8 millimeters. That looks pretty good. I'm going to go back and look at this one. Oh, yeah, mine's probably a little bit more exaggerated. I actually like the way mine looks better. It's going to be stronger. So let's give it a more defined dimension. What is that in millimeters? That's probably like 30? Oh, maybe 40. Let's call it 45. Good enough. Yeah, I think that looks good. So now I can go back here, and when I do the mirror, I'm just going to select this feature as well, and then that'll carry it over. And then might as well throw some fillets in there too. Let's just do a 1 millimeter. Get those corners. I'll probably get these corners. That'll just make it print a little bit better. If I'm printing in this orientation, which is actually what I want, that's going to be the strongest way to print it. So yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, I might as well do these corners too. And you can see there's actually a way to kind of speed things up. I don't necessarily need those back corners, but I might as well just do it that way. It's a lot easier to just have to click once. And then I'm going to do some bigger fillets on my chamfer. Let's do like 4 millimeters. Oh, that's going to be weird. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do it down here. And that's way too small. Let's do 20 millimeters maybe. That looks pretty good. I don't know. That looks kind of funky. See, they rounded the edges over here. I don't really want to do that. Let's see. Let's just do maybe 6 millimeters. That looks pretty good. I guess just to see how it will look, let's round those edges over too. Not that one. Not that one either. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Oh, so yeah, we gotta turn tangent propagation off on this. So that was weird. Okay, it doesn't like it. So we probably should have done these in a different order. Just switching those around actually fixed it. So yeah, I'm kind of torn on it. I guess that's probably a better way to go. I'm gonna go ahead and throw another one in the back corner here, if it'll let me. It will not, so I'm gonna ignore that. Yeah, good enough. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna throw some holes for number 8. Just gonna do a flathead screw. Number 8, perfect. We'll just go through all. And then I don't really care about the height. All I really care about is the center spacing. And usually I like to use center lines like this. It just makes it really easy to visualize. And it's just a pretty quick way to add the constraints that you need. I think this was 3 inches. What is that in millimeters? That's 75 millimeters about. Yeah, let's do 75 mm. Yeah, and then we should probably put a height constraint on there. You know, the lower it is, the stronger it's going to be. So let's actually go. Let's go 22 millimeters. That's a good compromise. And let's see if those look about right. They look kind of shallow, so I might just make them a little bit deeper. Or maybe change it. It's probably actually not 100 degree, it's probably an 82 degree. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So the nice thing about this is now I have a couple options. So one, I can do a configuration. I can call this, whoops, that is the wrong thing. So if I right click here and add a configuration, I call this F clamps. And then I can do another configuration. I can call this C clamps. And then do another one. I'll call that welding clamps. So these are like my vice grip clamps. The F clamps are a different style of clamp, and then C clamps, I think everybody knows what those are. F clamps are kind of like the woodworking clamps that have the bar clamp that you can slide and you can tighten the handle down. So that's what this was originally made for. I want to do another modification for C clamps, and I'm gonna just go in here. I'm gonna make it a little bit shorter, just on this configuration. Let's go like 1.75 inches. Better change this too. Just in this configuration. Just do an inch. Still doesn't like something. Oh, it doesn't like this. So I better change that. Let's go 0.75. And then in this configuration, we need to do, whoops, I don't know what plane I just selected. That was totally the wrong one. I just create a new plane that I do not want. So we're going to do an extruded boss. So basically what I want to do is have a tab that comes up here that my C-clamp can catch on. I haven't really thought it through a whole lot at this point. I'm still kind of figuring it out, but I think what I want to do, I think I just want to do an extruded boss right here. So go in here, I'm going to convert these, and then I'm just going to do this little doohickey. Make those collinear. And they gotta be pretty strong, so maybe I'll go 0.3. And then I just want those to come up like just enough that it can catch the clamp. So really, I could just go up to this surface, and I think that'll be good. So that'll give my clamp something to, I can slide it in there and it'll catch on that. Now what I need to do is go measure my clamp and figure out how far back this really needs to be, and then how wide this needs to be, because it might be different. So I'm gonna do that, I'll be right back. Okay, so I just took a picture of it. I'm measuring with calipers now. Across this section here is about 13 millimeters, so maybe I'll call it 13.5. And then right here, that rounded part, it's about 18.5 millimeters wide. And then from like right here to right here, so basically the length of that rounded part, I'm gonna call that like 21 millimeters. So basically what I want to do is make sure that this is at least 21 millimeters, which it is. I could probably go a little bit shorter if I wanted to. And then I gotta make sure that this is at least 13.5 millimeters, which it is not. So I gotta go in here. I gotta edit that and make sure to just do it for this configuration and with 13.5 mm. The other thing I can do, it doesn't need to be nearly that long, so I can actually change this just in this configuration, and just go like 0.35. Yeah, so that should be good. And then I think the width was at like 18.5. That's fine if it's a little bit wider. But yeah, that should work. So then we can just take this boss extrude. I'm a dummy. I should have actually put it right here, but that's okay. We're just gonna try doing a linear pattern. And then we're gonna go 42.5 millimeters. Do 4 of those, and that should get us what we want. Perfect. So now we have 2 different configurations. We've got our F clamps, and then we got our C clamps. And then if we want to do something similar for our vice clamps, or our welding clamps, this is going to be a lot easier. Really all we need to do is measure the diameter of the screw, which is what we're going to clamp to, and then we can make this whole thing way shorter. So I'm going to go grab those and we're going to measure those up. Alright, so here you can see this is the clamp, and what I want to do is just grab it basically right on the end of this, and so that's going to be 10 millimeters I think right there. Let me just double check. Yeah, we'll probably make that 10. Yeah, 10 millimeters on the screw diameter, and then let's make the head diameter 18 millimeters. So we're gonna go back here. Okay, we're on the welding clamps configurations. That's great. We're gonna change this cutout just on this one to 18 millimeters. And then we're gonna change this one, again, just on this one to 10 millimeters. And then the length doesn't need to be so big either, so we can turn that down. Let's go, yeah, 1.75, just like the other one. Oh, that's gonna be inches. So we'll try that. Again, it doesn't like it because these are too long, so we're gonna go 0.75. Or let's just do 20 millimeters. Keep everything metric. Now it doesn't like that this extruded cut doesn't have anywhere to go. Or no, actually it's this one is the one that's messed up, and that's throwing everything else off. So we're gonna go, let's try 22 millimeters. What's that look like? That's pretty good. And then if we wanted, we could actually unsuppress this and just put a little bit of a lip there. And I think that looks pretty good, but maybe we'll make it just a little bit smaller, just on this configuration. Doesn't need to hold quite as much weight, so maybe we'll just do something like that. And then we can unsuppress this one too. And that's looking pretty nice. The very last thing that I want to do, I thought this design, I wasn't super impressed with it. These can slide out really easily, so I actually bump these just to test it, and they just went flying. So what I would like to do is actually angle this just a little bit. Let me see if I can do that from here. I think I might have to change a bunch of stuff. So if I make this not vertical, and I just angle it back a little bit, and maybe instead of making this equal, I'll just do this, and then make these equal. And then I'm just gonna make that maybe 3 degrees. Oh, that's going the wrong way. Flip the dimension. So I think that actually worked. I don't think that messed anything up. Technically, our holes are kind of going at the wrong angle, but I think that's okay. They're just going into wood. If those were machine screws, that would be kind of weird. If we really wanted to, we could change that. We could actually do, oh, how would we do that? We'd probably go back here. We would create another plane. And I think this was 12 millimeters. So we're gonna flip that around. And then we're just gonna go here, and we're gonna move that sketch to this new plane. It's gonna be a little bit weird. They're not quite gonna go deep enough. So I'm just gonna make it, do some custom sizing. And I'm gonna go like 0.375. And that's basically just gonna simulate going a little bit deeper on the countersink. So that way, that just kind of angles our whole bracket a little bit back like that. That's going to hold things in place. You know, that might be a little bit excessive, so maybe I actually want to go 2 degrees or 2.5 degrees. I mean, 2 degrees looks pretty good. I think that's probably going to do it. So we'll try that out. This should be pretty easy to print. I don't see any printability issues. These all look pretty good. So I think we're gonna call it a day and get these printed. So I think these turned out really nice, really easy to access. They look great. Adding the tilt, I think I did a 2-degree angle on this. That worked out really well. They were falling off way too easily before. I probably could have done just a little bit more of an angle, but that's okay. These worked out great. No issues with that. They also work on C-clamps if you want to put them in this way, which I think works out pretty well. And then I actually had to modify this just a little bit. I had to put more of a lip on the front there, and then that allows me to put my larger C-clamps as well. I did make those just a little bit wider. And then it also works on the regular C-clamps like this, although I think I'm going to print another one that's just a little bit smaller to hold those just a little bit more securely. So overall, with a couple of minor changes, this was a successful project. Alright, well that wraps things up for this video. Hopefully you got something useful out of it. Like I said, this is the first time I've done a video just like this, where I'm going through a workflow instead of just like here's a specific how to do XYZ. So hopefully that was helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments though. If I should do more videos like this, if there's something in particular that you got out of it that you really liked, let me know. I guess if you're still watching and this just totally sucked, I guess let me know too. That would be surprising if you're still watching at this point. But yeah, love to hear from you. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.